True change is not a sudden lightning strike out of nowhere. It begins quietly, almost invisibly, with a spark called awareness. This awareness is like the first light of dawn breaking into the darkness of the night. Before that moment, a person can live surrounded by truth and yet never notice it. You can hear wisdom, read it, even speak it, but until the eyes of your understanding open, it will pass by you as if it never existed. There's a reason for this. Human beings often walk through life on autopilot, repeating patterns they've accepted as a normal. We become so accustomed to our routines, our thinking, our habits, that they form the lens through which we see the world. That lens can be clouded with excuses, fears, or false beliefs. And as long as that lens remains unchanged, we cannot truly perceive the things that could transform us. The awakening principle is that life-changing truth appears most clearly to the heart that is ready to receive it. It is not about intelligence or education. You can be the smartest person in the room and still be blind to what you did. Readiness comes when there's a crack in the wall you've built around your life, maybe through struggle, disappointment, or a deep longing for more. That crack lets the light in, and suddenly what was invisible becomes undeniable. Awareness is not always comfortable. In fact, it rarely is. It often shows you the gap between where you are and where you could be. It forces you to confront choices you've avoided, truths you've ignored, and potential you've left untouched. But here's the beauty of it. The very discomfort that comes with awareness is what propels you toward change. Many people want transformation without this awakening. They want the results without the process, the breakthrough without the breaking. But it doesn't work that way. You can be told exactly how to rise higher, yet if your inner eyes are still closed, it will sound like noise. Only when your heart wakes up will those same words sound like life itself. When awareness comes, it's as if the world rearranges itself. You begin to notice opportunities that were always there, but now you're able to see them for what they are. You recognize patterns in your life, some that have been carrying you forward and others that have been holding you down. And with that recognition comes a choice to step into the light of change or retreat back into the comfort of ignorance. The awakening principle demands that we stop waiting for the perfect time or the ideal circumstances. The moment you become aware is the moment to act. Because awareness, once ignored, begins to fade. But if embraced, it becomes the foundation for transformation. And when that first light shines, it's not just a sign that morning has come. It's an invitation to rise. The law of readiness teaches that transformation never happens simply because we wish for it. Wishing is passive. It is a feeling that says, I hope things change, while keeping us exactly where we are. Readiness is active. It is the state of mind and heart that says, I am prepared to do what it takes, even if it costs me. Until that shift occurs, change remains an idea, not a reality. Many people confuse desire with readiness. They want a new life, a better version of themselves, a fresh chapter. But wanting is not enough. You can want health and still eat what destroys your body. You can want success and still cling to excuses. You can want freedom and still chain yourself to habits that enslave you. Readiness begins the moment you stop bargaining with the truth and start aligning your actions with it. Readiness is rarely comfortable. It demands the courage to face discomfort because growth always lives outside the borders of what is easy. It is easy to talk about your dreams. It is much harder to walk toward them when the road is uphill and your legs are burning. Yet that is the very place where readiness proves itself, not in how loud your passion sounds, but in how willing you are to endure the process that passion requires. The law of readiness is also a law of timing. Sometimes the opportunity for change appears only briefly, like a door that opens for a moment before it closes. Those who are ready recognize that window and step through it. Those who are not ready may see the door, but hesitation can cost everything. Readiness is about being prepared before the door even appears, so that when it does, you do not need to think twice. There is also a truth about pain hidden in this law. Often, people become ready only when the pain of staying the same outweighs the pain of change. As long as the present feels tolerable, they will postpone transformation. But when the weight of what is becomes unbearable, the mind and spirit begin searching for a way out. That search is the beginning of readiness. But readiness is not only born from desperation, it can also be born from vision. Sometimes you become ready because you have seen a glimpse of what your life could be. and you refuse to settle for less. That vision pulls you forward, making you willing to endure whatever it takes to get there. The law of readiness is simple but unyielding. Life will not hand you transformation while you cling to the conditions that keep you bound. You must prepare your mind, your habits, and your heart. And when you do, change is no longer a possibility. It becomes inevitable. The mirror moment is one of the most defining points in a person's life. It is the instant when you stop looking outward for excuses and start looking inward for truth. It's when you see yourself, not as you imagine yourself to be, not as you hope others see you, but as you truly are. In this moment, the masks come off, the justifications crumble, and the reality of your choices, habits, and patterns stands before you like a reflection you can no longer avoid. For many, this moment is uncomfortable, even painful. It exposes the distance between who you are today and who you are capable of becoming. It reveals how much of your life has been shaped not by destiny, but by decisions made in fear, in laziness, or in avoidance. But as uncomfortable as this moment is, it is also the birthplace of transformation. Without seeing yourself clearly, you cannot know what needs to change. The mirror moment requires honesty, and honesty is one of the rarest acts of courage. It's easier to point at circumstances and other people, at the unfairness of life. But the mirror has no interest in your blame. It only reflects the truth, and the truth, though it may sting, is the only thing strong enough to set you free. In this moment, you begin to realize the cost of staying the same. You see how long you've carried certain habits that have been silently robbing you of your potential. You notice the relationships, environments, and patterns that have been keeping you bound. You might even feel grief for the time you've lost, but grief in the presence of truth can become fuel for change. The mirror moment also shifts your focus from the external to the internal. It's no longer about what life is doing to you. It's about what you are doing with the life you've been given. You begin to understand that your future is not determined by your past, but by the choices you make now. This is the moment when the if only statements fade, replaced by a from now on. And here's the powerful thing. The mirror doesn't just show you what's wrong. It shows you what's possible. When you look honestly, you can also see the strengths, gifts, and resilience that have been buried under layers of compromise. You realize that the person you want to become is not a stranger. They are already within you, waiting to be awakened. The mirror moment is both an ending and a beginning. It's the end of pretending and the beginning of becoming. You may not control the timing of when it comes, but when it does, you have a choice. Turn away and continue as you are, or face it fully and step into the person you were meant to be. And that choice, more than anything else, will determine your future. Breaking the illusion is one of the most critical steps toward true change. Many people live under the quiet but powerful belief that a later will be easier, that tomorrow will bring a better mood, a better opportunity, or a better set of circumstances in which to act. This illusion feels comforting because it allows you to postpone the discomfort of change. It whispers a not yet, wait until you feel ready. But the truth is there is no perfect moment, and a later is a mirage that keeps you walking in circles. The illusion works because it dresses itself in reason. You tell yourself you're gathering strength, waiting for the right signs, or letting things settle. In reality, you're protecting yourself from the very discomfort that change requires. This is how years pass without transformation. The days slip by disguised as preparation, but they are actually avoidance. Breaking the illusion begins with recognizing that the conditions for change will never be ideal. The fear you feel today will not magically disappear tomorrow. The uncertainty you face now will still be there next week. The only thing that changes over time is the opportunity, and the longer you wait, the smaller that opportunity becomes. Another part of the illusion is the belief that change is supposed to feel safe. In truth, it will often feel the opposite. Transformation demands risk. It asks you to step away from what you know into a place where the outcome is not guaranteed. This is why so many stay bound, not because they can't change, but because they won't walk through the fear that stands at the doorway. When you break the illusion, you begin to see that discomfort is not the enemy. It is the evidence that you are moving. Comfort zones may feel secure, but they are prisons with invisible walls. The moment you feel uneasy, you are brushing against the edges of those walls, and that is where growth lives. Breaking the illusion also means confronting the truth about time. Every day you wait is a day you will never get back. The later you are counting on may never come. Life has no guarantee that you will always have the health, energy, or opportunities you have right now. That realization can be sobering, but it is also freeing because it tells you that the time to act is always now. When the illusion shatters, you no longer see change as something you hope for in the future. You see it as something you choose in the present. And once that choice is made, the very fears that held you back begin to lose their power. You discover that the difficulty you feared was not as great as the regret you would have felt had you waited. In that moment, the illusion dies and your real life begins. The door of opportunity is one of life's most profound mysteries. It does not stand open forever. It appears often unexpectedly and invites you to step through. But there is a truth many never realize until it's too late. The door is only visible to those who are ready in heart and mind. If you are not prepared, you may walk past it without even noticing it was there. Opportunities rarely announce themselves with flashing lights and fanfare. They often come disguised as challenges, interruptions, or even inconveniences. They may appear in the form of a person you meet, a situation you didn't plan for, or a moment that feels small but holds the power to shift your entire life. The tragedy is that unprepared eyes see only the surface. They say, "This isn't the right time," or "I'll wait until things calm down." By the time they realize what they missed, the door has closed. Being ready for the door means living in a state of watchfulness. It means training yourself to see beyond appearances, to recognize that what looks ordinary may carry extraordinary potential. Those who live prepared don't wait to get ready when the opportunity comes. They prepare in advance so that when the door swings open, they can walk through without hesitation. The door of opportunity also tests courage. Every new door leads into the unknown. You cannot see everything on the other side before you decide to step in. This is why so many people hesitate. They want certainty, but certainty is not the currency of opportunity. Faith, courage, and willingness to risk are. Another truth about the door is that it often opens at inconvenient times. You might feel tired, unprepared, or overwhelmed when it appears, but that is part of its design. It asks you to choose whether your limitations will define you or whether you will rise above them. The ones who rise are not always the strongest or the most talented. They are simply the ones who say yes in the moment, trusting that they will grow into the role on the other side. It's also important to understand that the door doesn't stay open forever. Some opportunities are seasonal. They are tied to specific moments, connections, or conditions that will not last indefinitely. This is why hesitation can be so costly. Once the moment passes, you cannot always get it back. When you choose to step through, something shifts inside you. You realize that the decision to act was more important than the opportunity itself, because that decision shapes who you are becoming. And once you walk through one door, you start seeing others. Opportunities seem to multiply, not because the world has changed, but because you have. You've trained your eyes to see what they once missed, and that vision will carry you into places you never imagined you could go. The price of change is something many people underestimate. Everyone wants the reward, but few are willing to pay what it costs. Transformation is never free. It always demands something in return, and what it asks for is often the very thing you least want to give up. It may require leaving behind habits you've carried for years, environments that feel familiar, or even relationships that have been part of your life for as long as you can remember. Change will always cost you comfort. One of the first payments you must make is letting go of the old identity you've built around your current life. This can be frightening because even if that identity is limiting, it is familiar. You know how to live within its boundaries. Stepping beyond it means facing uncertainty. It means becoming someone you have not yet learned how to be, and that transition can feel like walking without a map. Another cost is discipline. Change demands consistent, intentional action. It asks you to show up on days when you don't feel like it, to keep going when the excitement fades, and to persevere when results are not yet visible. This discipline is not glamorous. It is built in quiet moments when no one is watching. It's the small daily choices, what you say yes to, what you say no to, that accumulate into transformation. Then there is the cost of sacrifice. You may have to give up temporary pleasures to gain lasting freedom. You might need to step away from voices that keep you small, even if they belong to people you care about. Sometimes the price is solitude, the space to grow without the constant pull of familiar patterns. This can be one of the hardest costs to bear because it forces you to confront yourself without distraction. The price of change also includes enduring resistance. Not everyone will understand your transformation. Some will question you, criticize you, or try to pull you back into who you used to be. This is not because they always wish you harm, but because your change forces them to face their own unwillingness to change. Standing firm in the face of this resistance is part of what you must pay. But here's the truth. While the price of change is high, the cost of staying the same is far greater. Remaining in the same patterns may feel easier in the moment, but it leads to a slow erosion of your potential. It robs you of the life you could have lived, the impact you could have made, and the person you could have become. When you finally decide to pay the price, you realize it was never a loss. Every sacrifice makes space for something great. Every habit you let go of, every comfort you step out of is replaced by strength, freedom, and a deeper sense of purpose. And in the end, you see that the price of change was simply the investment in the life you were always meant to live. The vision beyond is what gives change its true meaning. It's not enough to simply walk away from what you no longer want. You must walk towards something greater. Many people make the mistake of focusing only on escaping a job they hate, a habit that controls them, or a situation that drains them. But without a clear vision of what lies ahead, they can easily end up lost, wandering from one temporary fix to another. Real transformation requires not just an ending, but a destination. The vision beyond is the picture of the life you are moving toward. It's the higher version of yourself that you know you were created to become. This vision is not built on vague wishes. It is shaped by values, purpose, and the unique potential placed within you. When you catch even a glimpse of it, you begin to understand that change is not about deprivation. It's about alignment. It's about bringing your daily actions into harmony with the person you are meant to be. One of the most powerful aspects of having a vision beyond is that it fuels perseverance. Change is not a straight path. There will be setbacks, delays, and moments when quitting seems easier than continuing. In those moments, the vision serves as an anchor. It reminds you why you started, why you cannot go back, and why the struggle is worth it. Without that anchor, it's easy to drift back into old patterns the moment things become difficult. The vision also shifts how you see sacrifice. When you know where you're going, what once felt like loss begins to feel like preparation. Letting go of certain habits becomes an act of clearing space for better ones. Walking away from certain relationships stops feeling like rejection and starts feeling like protection, a way to guard the path you're building. The vision transforms every no into a yes for something greater. It's important to understand that the vision beyond is rarely achieved in a single leap. It unfolds gradually, step by step, as you grow into it. At first, you may not have the strength, skill, or wisdom to handle the fullness of it, and that's okay. Each stage of the journey shapes you for the next. The person you are today could not sustain the life you will one day have, but every step forward makes you more capable of living it. Most importantly, the vision beyond is not just about personal gain. True vision always carries within it the potential to impact others. Your growth, your courage, and your transformation become a light for those still in the shadow. By pursuing the vision beyond, you not only change your life, you create a ripple effect that can touch lives you may never even meet. And in that ripple, the meaning of your change becomes something far greater than yourself.